Hi there and welcome to Loopy Mabel Vintage Style. My name is Jane, and if you love a bit of vintage, you love a bit of shabby chic with some crochet, some sewing, some dressmaking, maybe upcycle and recycle your clothes in your wardrobe, then this is the perfect channel for you. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then you'll be kept up to date with all the videos that I do bring out. And obviously if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you popping by and supporting this channel. So in today's video it's going to be a tutorial on how to make my latest crochet design, which is this rainbow poncho style wrap, which I've got here on Mabel, my mannequin. Now I did talk about it slightly in a previous video log where I showed you what I'd been up to, and I promised that I would do the tutorial. So here we are today with the tutorial, and I am also modelling what we're going to be making in the video. So if you'd like to crochet along with me, please feel free to grab a 4.5mm hook and some double knit yarn. I'm just going to go and grab a coffee, so I shall see you back here in a moment. Tutorial, before I pop over to the overhead camera, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction into the yarn that I'm going to be using. I mentioned it in the previous video log. It is a gorgeous yarn by Cygnet yarns, an English yarn company, and the yarn I'm going to be using is the Boho Spirit yarn. It's a self-striping colour changing yarn, and this shade that I'm wearing today, which I shall show you, the Horizon shade, isn't absolutely gorgeous. This is the shade I'm going to be using in the tutorial. This is the Horizon shade, and that shade here on the mannequin is the Karma shade. And today's tutorial I have been kindly donated this yarn by Cygnet yarns, so thank you so much for that donation, and I'm going to show you how you can make this pretty little crochet poncho wrap with this fabulous yarn. So I'm just going to pop over to the overhead camera and then I shall do the full tutorial for you. So in this tutorial I'm going to be using the Boho Spirit made by Cygnet yarns, and this colour combination is Horizon, which was kindly donated to me by Cygnet yarns. And I'm also going to be using a contrast yarn for the edging to go around the edge of the poncho and the neck part. You don't have to use two yarns, you could just use one yarn, and this is double knit yarn, so you could use any double knit. Also going to be using a 4.5mm hook. You're going to be needing some scissors and a darning needle, so we can then stitch the poncho together before we finish off with the edging. So let's begin. So we're going to start off and make our slip knot. So you just make a slip knot whichever way you're familiar with. I do have a tutorial if you need to refresh on that. And then we're just going to chain 67 in total. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So continue like that until you've got 67 chains. Right, so I've got my 67 chains, and what we're going to do now is into the fourth chain from our hook. So all you do is count back down. This is not the chain on your hook, so you do not count that one. So you count back 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to insert our hook into that fourth chain, and we're going to work one treble. So if you're watching from the US, this tutorial is in UK terms, so when I mention treble it would be double crochet for you guys. So yeah, so we're just going to yarn over, insert our hook into the fourth chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through 2, and that's our first treble. And by going down into the fourth chain from our hook, those chains there are going to count as another treble too. So we have 2 trebles, and then we're going to skip 2. So skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, insert our hook into the next one, and we're going to work 3 trebles. So skip 2, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Repeat that 2 more times. So you should now have 3 trebles into that stitch. We're going to skip 2 again, 1, 2, and work 3 more trebles. So it's simply this all the way along your chains. So skip 2, work 3 trebles, skip 2, work 3 trebles, all the way along to the end. So if you want to continue on like me and work all the way along with skip 2, 3 trebles into the next, skip 2, 3 trebles into the next, all the way along, and I shall see you somewhere towards the end and I'll show you how to finish off this first row. So I'm just towards the end of this row, so I'm just going to skip the next 2, 1, 2, insert my hook and do my 3 trebles. And you should be left with 3 chains at the end. So we're going to skip the 2, 1, 2, and into the last chain, insert your hook and work 2 trebles, just 2 trebles. 1, so that's our first row done. So at the beginning of every row we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is throughout the pattern now. Chain 3 and turn, and into the space between those last 2 trebles of every row we're going to insert our hook into that space. So for every row from now on we're going to chain 3, turn, yarn over, insert your hook in between those last 2 trebles and work 1 more treble, and we're going to do that for every row. And then into the following 3 trebles we're going to insert our hook into the middle, the top of the middle treble. So you're going through the 2 there, you should have 2 on your 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's your first treble. We're going to chain 1 and then we're going to go back down into that same stitch and work another treble like so, and then we're going to go into the middle of the next 3 trebles, pick up the middle one again, work treble, chain 1 and treble into that same stitch, and we're just going to repeat this all the way along. So going into the second treble, work treble, chain 1 and treble, repeat again, pick up the next following middle treble out of the 3, insert your hook and treble, chain 1 and treble, and I'm just going to do this all the way along. Super simple, this pattern. You can be able to do it with your eyes shut at the end. It's so simple. So if I leave you to continue on now, working treble, chain 1 and treble into that middle treble of the row below, continue on, and I shall see you somewhere towards the last 3 trebles and I'll show you how to finish off this row. So I'm just got to the last of the 3 trebles there, so I'm just going to insert my hook into the middle one, work a treble, chain 1 and a treble into that same stitch, and we come to the last 2, which is our treble and our chain 3. So you have a gap in between, so you're going to insert your hook into that gap, so yarn over, insert your hook into the gap between those 2 and work 2 trebles, and that's row 2. And basically this is the pattern. So we're going to work row 1, row 2, row 1, row 2, all the way until you've done 63 rows in total. And for every row we're going to chain 1 beginning, 1, 2, 3 and turn, insert our hook in between those 2 trebles that we've just done in the gap and work 1 treble. So there we have the 2, and then into this row we're going to work in between those 2 trebles in the chain space and work 3 trebles. So 1, 2 and 3, down into the next chain space. So 1, 2 and 3. So down into the next chain space, yarn over and work 3 trebles. So I'll just complete this row. So 3 trebles in every chain space. So I'm just coming to the end of this row, so 3 trebles into that chain space. And we've come to our 2 trebles at the end. Should always have the 2 trebles at the end in that gap and work 2 trebles, and that's the same for every row. So the beginning and end of every row is going to be the same. So the beginning will be chain 3 and turn and a treble into that gap between those 2 trebles. So it's always going to be the same at the beginning, and the end will always be 2 trebles into that gap there. So you can see the pattern forming now. So we have our first row, which is 3 trebles together in the same stitch. The next row is treble, chain 1, treble into the middle of those 3 trebles. So treble, chain 1, treble into the middle of those 3 trebles, and then the next row you do your 3 trebles into the gaps of that chain space, and that's all you do. Repeat. So the next row now we'll be on to is row 2, and we're going to do treble, chain 1, treble into the middle of the treble, and the same again all the way along, and that's the pattern all the way along. So if you want to repeat rows 1 and 2, and you continue on till you've done 63 rows in total, and you do that twice. So when you get to end of row 63, you fasten off, and then you repeat it all again and chain your 67 and do another second panel and do 63 rows again and fasten off. So then you'll have 2 rectangle panels of this pattern, and then once you've got those complete, I'll show you how to join it and finish off the poncho. So I'm just coming to the end of my 63rd row, so you should be finishing on a row that has the 3 trebles. And I'm just finishing off with my last 2 stitches there, my last 2 trebles in that final section. I'm just going to cut my yarn and fasten off. Right, so hopefully you've managed to make the 2 pieces. There should be 2 rectangle pieces with 63 rows on each panel. So there's 2 panels there, and you should end with a row with the 3 trebles on both pieces. So now what we're going to do is put the 2 pieces together to create the poncho. Now all we're going to do is open one piece out, so whichever piece you choose, it doesn't really matter, like that. So this is the length going across, so if you have the length going across, and then here is the width, like that, and then you get your second piece, pin it to one side on the edge, so whichever side you choose. So you just place that second piece on the top, and you can pin it, or you can secure it with some stitch markers all the way along, just to keep the piece together. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch this piece together from there to there. So you don't want to stretch it, just let it lie naturally flat. So don't pull it so it's stretched, so just let it lie naturally flat on that side like that. And then just going to pin that so I know where the end is. I'm just going to gently pin. So I've got this bottom piece going that way, this top piece going that way. So they're my two edges, and they're the two edges I'm going to sew first. Just leave a little bit of a tail. I'm going to work that tail in as I go along. And I'm just going to go over just to secure that yarn a couple of times in that corner. I'm just going to do an overstitch, so I'm just going to catch in both layers. So I insert my needle into the first bit at the back, then through the front piece, and just overstitch like so, just catching both layers in. I'm also going to be sewing in these two ends as I go along. So literally catch both layers. Just work your way along and sew the pieces together. So just working over and over all the way to there. So just working your needle over and over, catching in the first piece and the second piece, and just pull the yarn through. Really simple and quick to do, and it's a neat edge finish too. I'm just coming to the last piece now. So I'm just going to finish off with my overstitch in there. And there we've done our join. So when you turn it over to the right side, so a lovely neat join. So there we've done the one side. So we've got like right angles, you can see. So what we're going to do now is join our remaining two sides. So just going to turn it over. So we're going to put this piece that was shorter, turn it over so it's now longer, and the piece that you had at the back that was longer, we're just going to turn it so it now joins on that side. So it's nice and flat and evenly pinned along the top. So by joining the two ends, we create our neck area, and that's going to create like the poncho V-neck. So if you want to finish off the second side, just repeat what we did on the first side. Just get your darning needle and your yarn and just secure it at that end, and then just work your overstitch all the way along, catching in both layers, and secure it this end, and then I'll show you what to do when we come to do the pretty edging. So there we've got our two pieces stitched together, and I'm just going to turn it through the right way. So now we're ready to add our pretty shell edging. So at this point it's up to you what wool you use. I could continue on and use the same wool for the edging, but I just like to add something a little bit different myself personally, so I'm going to go for this dusky pink, but you can do any colour, or as I say, you can just continue in the same yarn. Right, so using the same hook and whichever yarn you want to use, I'm just going to work on the neck area first. So I'm working with the poncho right side facing me, and it doesn't really matter where you start, but I'm just going to start here where the V is. So I'm just going to join my yarn. So I'm just going to insert my hook, just going to tie it so it's secure. So for the first one, I'm just going to chain one, and then down into that same stitch I'm just going to do a double crochet, and that's my first stitch. And I'm just going to evenly pick up double crochets all the way along. rule of thumb is you pick up 2 stitches when you're working along, when you're picking up where there's been trebles. So there's been trebles all the way along the edge, so I'm going to pick up 2 double crochets for each treble that I come to. So insert my hook and just work 2 double crochets. So into the side there where that treble is, and just work 2 double crochets. So it's that easy. So I'm just going to work all the way along, picking up 2 double crochets. Obviously if you're watching from the US, that will be 2 single crochets. Just a quick point, when you come to the join of the neck area, so I'm just coming to that first join, I just do my 2 double crochets in that treble. Because we're going on an angle here, we're just going to add a few extra. So I'm going to do 3 in that one, and then past the join I'm going to do 3 in that one, and that should help with the V shape. And then just continue on, and I'll show you how we finish off this row, and then we'll go on to the shell edging row. So I'm just coming to the end, so I'm just going to do 3 double crochets in this last treble space because it's a corner point, and then we did 2 there, so I'm just going to finish off with 1 more on that side. So we've got 3 on that side, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet that we did. So now we're going to go on to our pretty shell edging. So just going to chain 1 and double crochet into that same stitch. I'm going to skip 2, so 1, 2, down into that next one. I'm going to work 5 trebles, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the 5 trebles. We're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to double crochet into the next. Skip 2, 1, 2, and work 5 trebles into the next. Skip 2, 1, 2, and double crochet into the next. So we're just going to repeat this all the way along. So skip 2, 1, 2, 5 trebles into the next, skip 2, and double crochet into the next. So it's as simple as that. So working all the way around to this end here, and I shall see you somewhere around about here. So I've just got to the end of this neck line here, and I've just done my 5 trebles, and sometimes it doesn't always work out exactly, but it doesn't matter, it's very forgiving. So I've got to skip 2 and then do my double crochet and near enough back to the beginning, so that's absolutely fine. So skip 2, do my double crochet, and it would be skip 2. I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of that first double crochet that we did at the beginning, cut the yarn and pull it through, and that completes the neck area. As I say, I need to tie in the end. So you do exactly the same for the bottom. When you come to the points, these are the, you've got the 2 points. I pick up my 2 double crochets into the last one, and then in the one in the corner I add 3 double crochets to bring me round, and then continue on with my 2 double crochet. So I've just come to the last part of the bottom edge, and I've just finished on my 5 trebles. So I'm going to see what I've got left. So I'm going to skip 2, and there's the first double crochet that I started with. So I'm just going to skip across and slip stitch to the top of that double crochet, and that should finish that edge off perfectly. As I said before, don't worry if it doesn't work out exactly when you come to the end. It is quite forgiving. You may have to only skip 1 or possibly skip 3, but you can't notice, it's not noticeable at all. So I'm just going to trim the yarn and just finish it off, and then sewing our ends. And there we have the neck edging all completed and pretty. Obviously you can use whatever colour you want. There we've got our completed rainbow poncho. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial as much as I did. I love designing and making this poncho wrap. You can wear it two ways, so you can wear it like I've got on Mabel, my mannequin, in the poncho style with the V-neck there and the poncho at the bottom, or you can wear it in the wrap style like I'm wearing here. I think this is my favourite way of wearing it, but it's versatile so you can swap it around. And I'll just stand up and show you what it looks like when you wear it this way. So it has like the wrap look, and then you have the drape on the sleeve. So two ways of wearing it, and isn't this colourway absolutely fabulous? Absolutely love this colourway. Horizon. So there will be the PDF pattern, which you can also buy for a few pennies, and I'll put the link for that in the box below. So if you'd like to follow along with a written pattern, please feel free to download that too. And also feel free to ask me any questions in the box below. Which colour would you prefer? This one, the Horizon, or this one on the mannequin, the Karma? Which one would you go for? Please let us know and share what colours you would prefer. If you did like this video, please don't forget to give me that lovely thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be absolutely amazing. I'm now off to do some more crochet designing, and I've got a few dressmaking items that I'm going to share with you in the next video log. So I'm going to go off now and do all that. But as I always say, practice does make perfect. Please take care and happy crochet.